Well, ever since the assassination of President Jovenel Moise in July 2021, the US has planned for a military invasion of Haiti. Basically, seen there is an armed movement that is growing and uniting neighborhoods called the Revolutionary Forces of the G9, led by a former police officer named Jimmy Cherizier. But the pressure is really ramping up now. Well, first we have the headline from the Washington Post, which completely confirms it that there is a military intervention in the works. The US very much wants it. And now we have a statement from the United Nations High Commission on Human Rights, and its spokesperson, Maria Hurtado, here's the exact quote from her. She says, "We call on the international community to urgently consider the deployment of a time-bound specialized support force under conditions that conform to international human rights law," et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty remarkable to me to hear this from the UN High Commission on Human Rights, calling for a military invasion of Haiti, especially knowing the horrific history of what previous foreign invasions, whether by the United States or UN so-called peacekeepers, have wrought on Haiti, from rape of Haitian women and many fatherless children to massacres to this kind of thing. So Biden is going to Canada to meet with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Thursday, March 23rd. He's heading out there, and apparently he's going to be putting some kind of pressure on Trudeau to carry out this intervention.
Russia is set to deploy tactical nuclear weapons in its neighboring country, Belarus. President Vladimir Putin made this announcement as per Russian media reports. This will be the first time since mid-1990s that Moscow would be stationing such arms outside its territory. The announcement comes at a time when rift with the West is growing over the Russia-Ukraine war, the war that does not seem to be ending. The Russian president said the United States has been deploying their tactical nuclear weapons on the territory of their allied countries in Europe for decades. He emphasized we are just doing the same without violating our international obligations on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons.
Александр Григорьевич прав, он говорит, ну слушайте, мы же ваши ближайшие союзники, почему американцы своим союзникам делают, на их территории размещают, учат, кстати говоря, их экипажи, их летчиков использовать при необходимости этот вид вооружения. Мы договорились, что мы сделаем то же самое, не нарушая своих обязательств, хочу это подчеркнуть.
But what are these tactical nuclear weapons? These are nuclear weapons that are used for specific gains on the battlefield rather than those with the capacity to wipe out entire cities. Now, according to the announcement, the construction of a storage facility for tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus will get completed by July 1st. Now, remember, Belarus shares border with 3 NATO countries, that is Poland, Lithuania and Latvia.
Last August, the Chinese military sent a loud wake-up call to the United States and allies in the region with this massive, unprecedented drill simulating a blockade of Taiwan.
It crossed a multi-threshold that did not happen for decades.
176 warplanes, 41 Navy ships, and dozens of attack and reconnaissance drones choked off Taiwan's waters and airspace for 72 hours. 11 ballistic missiles also landed in the waters around the island. Dr. Alexander Huang is a leading Taiwan-China military specialist.
China give, 1 spoon of different dishes to Taiwan, and we got the taste already. If they put out the full plate, the whole table, we probably will have a big problem.
And military activities near the island haven't stopped. A record 1,727 Chinese fighter planes crossed into Taiwan's air defense zone in 2022, compared to 960 incursions in 2021 and 380 in 2020. 2023 has been no different.
I think history will view this year as a turning point in the global order.
General Wayne Eyre, the country's chief of the defense staff, a soldier who is worried. Plunging recruiting numbers, aging fighter jets and warships, unconventional missions at home, overseas training Ukrainian troops, guarding NATO's eastern flank in Latvia, and most recently, a plan to deploy more frigates to the Pacific, efforts that will impact on Canada's presence elsewhere, especially deterring Russia in Europe. Canada has nearly 700 troops in Latvia, helping guard NATO's eastern flank, and they have no dedicated air defense, the kind the Ukrainians have been begging for months, nor any weapons to counter drone bombs, like this one dropped on a Russian soldier. Nor do they have modern anti-tank weapons, like these javelins, which have proven decisive for the Ukrainians in holding back the Russian invasion. Many of the Canadian Army's older anti-tank weapons were donated to Ukraine. Same goes with 4 of the Army's 36 modern howitzers. Last summer, at the NATO leaders' meeting, I asked the Prime Minister point-blank for a commitment to replace the weapons.
Yes, stocks for the Canadian military will be replenished.
Again, easier said than done. The M777 howitzer is no longer manufactured, leaving the Army wondering what to do. The Defense Department has 4 urgent procurements underway to cover these gaps.
Are we prepared for a state-to-state conflict? Should it break out in 2023?
I have grave concerns, not only about the capabilities we have, but the ability to sustain them in terms of ammunition, in terms of spare parts, and in terms of people.